March 9th, 2026, the 413th day of the Sex Offender Administration. Mujtaba Khamenei has been named as Iran's new supreme leader just a week after his father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed in U.S.-Israeli strikes. Donald Trump told Axios that the choice would be unacceptable and suggested he wanted to handpick a new supreme leader. Trump would pick the new leader from one of the best people that he knows from the Epstein files. Kari Lake claimed that she, quote, assumed the role of acting CEO, close quote, of the U.S. Agency of Global Media and could therefore lay off nearly the entire Voice of America workforce, among other actions, was trashed by the U.S. Judge Royce C. Lamberth on Saturday. Judge Lamberth ruled that Lake wasn't legally eligible to serve as acting CEO of USAGM, declaring null and void seemingly all actions taken by Lake. Are you kidding? Kari Lake's best qualities are null and void. Representative Kevin Kiley, Republican of California, announced Friday that he will seek re-election this year as an independent and drop his affiliation with the GOP at the end of his current term. Kiley is disappointed by the Republican Party's constant capitulation to Trump. Look for Kiley on the ballot in November and the unemployment line in December. Asif Merchant, a Pakistani man with ties to Iran, has been found guilty of plotting to assassinate U.S. politicians and officials. Merchant, age 47, hired a hitman in New York to kill prominent American officials and targeted Donald Trump in 2024. A Pakistani man with ties to Iran. If Asif really wanted to hurt politicians, all he had to do was publicly endorse them. This has been the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll with headlines and punchlines for March 9th, 2026. The 413th day of the Sex Offender Administration. Join me live at the Church of Last Resort Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on MindDog TV.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Did you do something, LinkedIn? Did you? Watch this. I got to quick. No? Damn good coffee and hot. Hot coffee.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Yeah.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about Kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Yeah. Oh, Moulin and Pack. We'll see about that, Sunshine. Good morning, but you say. That's what you say. I don't know. Oh, good morning, folks. It's Monday morning. At least it's March. Are you used to the extra hour yet, or the moved around hour, the shuffled hour? I like it at night. I don't like it in the morning, if that makes any sense. Like anything I say probably doesn't make any sense, but I like it when it's still light out at 6:30 at night, but in the morning, I don't know. Anyway, it is Monday, March 9th, 2026. And I got to say, MAGA was right. MAGA was right all along. What are they right about? Well, they said if I voted for Kamala Harris, that we would be at war in the Middle East and on the verge of a world war. Gas prices would be going through the roof. Grocery prices would be going through the roof. And turns out I did vote for Kamala Harris, and that's exactly what we got. So MAGA, right on money with that prediction. Very good. Doom and gloom. Myself, if I look a little sickly, because I feel a little sickly. You know me, right? Yeah, you're right. You don't really know me, but you know me. Look, I'm adjusting seat-wise over here. Forever, I've been talking about how I'm ready to die, right? You know, and this is not suicidal. I got to pull up the thing. I got a bit of a banner, dopey banners, and banner. I'm just blowing off steam here. How about this one? I'm not talking about, doing anything stupid. I've talked about just feeling old and ready to get off the ride, especially with everything that's going on in the world. But for the last 3 or 4 days, I feel like I did something. Like I might be on the cusp of a heart attack or a stroke. I feel that way. I'm serious, and I'm serious, but I don't really give a fuck. But out of breath, doing like really small physical activities, and so if I look a little sickly, because I am. There was a song, and I don't remember who did it, but I look like a mean old man. That's what I am. Well, if I look like a sick son of a bitch, that's what I is. That's something. But we have a strange show for you today. A confident young man, a man who listen. The quiet confidence. Where's the quiet part come in? If you're going on on a podcast or television or radio and saying you're confident, that's not quiet confidence. That's television. That's showbiz. I'm telling people, no, quiet confidence. You don't have to say it. If you know anything about me at all, braggarts kind of get under my skin a little bit. So we have a guest in the second hour who teaches dudes how to get women. Dudes, and listen, if you're going to a guy to teach you how to get women, you definitely need a confidence boost. Because, like, what the fuck, man? Come on, really? You're going to a dude, I need help getting women. Oh, my God. Are you with me? Or you just think you're already mad at me for... And it's going to be a tough interview, but it's for an hour and 15. I live in the moment, right? It's in the future, and we might not make it to the future. I might die before that. I'm not trying to get any women. Are you trying to get any women? And listen, damn it, get them on your own. I see. I don't know if you know this about me, but women just but all you women are fucking mutts, man. I'm sorry. I'm off to a terrible start here. If not for my limitations in time, lifetime, and intelligence, I would go back to school and get a PhD in quantum mechanics. I'm really upset. I am upset that there is a gaping hole that only a man who can, with quiet confidence, would stick his thing in our understanding of nature and the universe. And how do I put this? The strangeness of quantum entanglement, which Einstein called spooky action at a distance, could be comforting in some way or inspiring, thinking that, well, magic? Quantum mechanics is probably one of the best theories that we have as far as accuracy and enabling people to do some really good things, technologically powerful things. But it's got a gaping hole in it. And that gaping hole is fucking magic. And physics, science is not supposed to be about magic. And the other part of it is Einstein pointed it out, Jesus, almost 100 years ago. And Bohr and Heisenberg and all these big brain dudes, they kind of admit, yeah, but they said, you know what, just forget about it. We can't figure it out. It's too hard. Don't worry about it. The thing works, right? Doesn't matter if we don't know what the fuck is going on there. It's all just strange. No, I'm not thinking that, because again, limited dose. If I went back to school and got a PhD in quantum mechanics, there's no chance in hell that I would be the one to figure this out. I'm not suggesting that at all. But I would love to get into some of these. I'd love to hear the conversations about these things with these geeks, and because you can't let it go. It's 100 years of, Jesus, it's a really good, but it doesn't work. It works, but it doesn't work. It's got a gaping hole in it, a gaping hole. And that's what we're all about here, is gaping holes. I'm going on too long. You don't care about quantum mechanics, do you? You know, you should. You really should. Because you know what entanglement means? It means things kind of communicate faster than the speed of light, but they don't communicate faster than the speed. Nothing moves faster than the speed of light across the universe. In some cases, you could move. The cat's dead and not dead at the same time. If you flip a coin in your hand, close it in your hand, and you don't look at it, quantum mechanics says it's both heads and tails until you look at it. That doesn't feel right. Does that feel right to you? You know it's one of the other, right? You just haven't looked at it to decide yet. That's what you say, right? Quantum mechanics says, nay, nay, nay. It's both. And I say, no. What about locality, causality? So I would love to go back to school and learn about this stuff, and just hear people a lot smarter than me yelling at each other over it, because it bothers me. Because the whole point of physics and science is to understand the universe, understand nature. And if we, you gotta go, oh, magic is, and then sweep it under the rug. Yeah, we know that there's a fucking gaping hole, but you know, and it's not that we don't have the right instruments to measure stuff. We don't care. All right, we'll just leave that magic hole over there, and it's bothering me. Anyway, you probably want to know about wine, don't you? You do. You're a bunch of winos. Well, because St. Patrick's Day is coming up, and you're not a beer person, are you? I could tell that by looking at you. So I'll tell you about wine. This is going to be a loud wine, isn't it? Knew that was coming. Wine Express, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Wine Express, right? Yeah, Wine Express. Here, I'll tell you about WineExpress.com. is the exclusive wine shop partner of the Wine Enthusiast catalog and website, which have been providing quality wine accessories and storage for 40 years. And during that time, they served millions of satisfied customers and built a loyal following of avid wine lovers that we like to call winos. It's only natural then that, for them to have teamed up with a great wine shop to bring their customers first quality wines at value prices, and whatever those value prices are. Now you can get free shipping and probably get the stuff right in time for Valentine's Day, so you get drunk as a skunk on good wine. I need good wine for my art. You spend enough, you get this free shipping, and it looks like $49.95, but it could be $149.95. It could be $4,499,000. Whatever. Spend a lot of money on wine. That's all I'm saying. And I will take this out of the picture here, and then watch me do this cool fade out while I introduce GD. Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now. Yeah, he's fading. He's fading, baby. In the room with me now is a man who always gets wine for St. Patrick's Day because he's not Irish. GD Fenderson. Good morning, GD. Fading. He's fading.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. St. Patrick's Day is 8 days away. So go to MindDogTV.com/merch to order St. Patrick's gear, St. Patty's Day gear, just in time to receive it when you get it.
Next St. Patrick's Day. Next year. You'll get it.
Spend your green on our green. Don't be green. That's right. Do it, baby. Do it.
I'm green with envy on that. On your
support your local merchandise and enjoy the suffering and crack the sky.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So on Wednesday night, I got a doctor who's going to tell me how to not have any heart attacks. How about that?
I was going to suggest something to you. I don't
go to a doctor. Don't tell me go to a doctor.
No. I would never know. That's a little while ago, probably last year, maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember. I was suffering shortness of breath. I mean, I was getting winded just walking. I was dizzy. Sometimes I was getting forgetful. And turns out I had a severe vitamin B12 shortage. And so, because I suffer from pernicious anemia. I didn't used to, but now I do. They gave me the B12 and now I don't have the shortness of breath. I can walk. I mean, I can bike for miles and miles now. Because before, literally, I was getting winded walking 50 steps. And if I was walking 50 steps uphill, I didn't make it halfway up the hill before stopping to go. So, and the thing is, I'm not suggesting that you do that, but I don't know if you're taking B12. I don't know your diet habits or anything like that. And I don't think that there's any side effects if you started taking B12 over the counter. And like I'm taking, I think I'd have to look, but I think I may be taking like 100 milligrams a day, but I have to check. I have a prescription around here somewhere.
Does it come naturally in anything? There's B12, like foods that have lots of B12 in it?
Well, enough to make a difference in a diet, no. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I had a pretty good diet. I had a pretty healthy diet, but there was something preventing me from processing it. That's what it was. I wasn't processing it real well. I had acid reflux, but that wasn't like the problem. That was like a side effect of what was preventing me from actually digesting it. And so I had to have so much more B12 so that my body could absorb it. You understand what I'm saying? So so I wasn't absorbing it fast enough and it was getting out of my system. So I had to like inundate my body with B12 so that by the time it took what it needed and the rest I pissed out, I was getting what I needed. And the dizzy spells went away, the shortness of breath went away, and I went through all of these tests. I mean, when I say all these tests, they put me on the running machine and the jogging machine and the PP machine and all these machines. And it was the B12 blood work out the ass. Well, actually, they didn't take the blood work out the ass. They took it out the arm.
Ouch. Bartles and James is because Craig's in the chat room there. He said, "Do they have Bartles and James at wineexpress.com?" That's not wine. It's a wine cooler, right? And I'm not exactly sure what the difference is, but I don't know.
Do they have bumping a bottle by from the vineyards of the Dunway Pass? Not Dunway. Damn, of the
the Church of Last Resort.
Church of Last Resort vineyards. Yeah.
I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, But I don't know. Wine shops, do they sell like fake wine? Because Bartles and James. Listen, I'm not. If you like that stuff, fine. I don't. I've never had a wine cooler in my life. It's just like, no. If I'm going to drink wine, I'm going to drink wine. What is a wine cooler? It's like low alcohol. Wine is low alcohol enough already, right? Well, I don't know. What am I talking about? I don't know.
Good day, Mr. Tail. Mr. Tail is in the audience. I can't message him back because he's on the purple square. And I don't have the purple square.
He's probably going to tell me to go to a doctor. So let's just send.
I don't know which part was saying it was boring, but I was just I'm just saying that when you take too many PPIs, it can cause issues and absorption. I don't know what a PPI is. I don't. You got big RBCs.
You get big RBCs.
He's using all this. See, okay. This is the problem I have with people who are like professionals in the sense that they have their own letters for that profession. And when I read those letters and apply it and try to interpret it, not knowing what they know, but only knowing what I know, I don't come up with the same definitions of RBCs and PPIs.
I have no idea what RBC. I couldn't imagine.
Well, I
Rough
thought it was
black
red,
cock.
blue. I thought it was one of those things for color televisions. Red. Like they say, red, blue, green.
RGB.
Oh, red blood cells.
Oh.
Okay. Why didn't you just say red blood cells?
Oh, yeah. Why don't you just say that? You know what I'm confused about? Over the counter. Isn't everything over? I've never bought anything. Well, if you get it under the counter.
Well, not everything is over the counter. Some things are out of the truck or off of the van or out of their trunk. But believe me, and you know about selling things out of their trunk. So
yeah, that's absolutely true. But in a store, it's either whether it's prescription or non-prescription, you're still buying it over the counter. I don't know. It's PPI, proton pump inhibitor. Why? I don't need my protons pumped.
No, he needs his pee pumped.
I need a quiet confidence, of big depth energy. That's kind of, I don't know.
Did you read his? Did you go to his website?
I did go to his website.
Do you know what a POM is? POM.
Is that what it is? Because I thought it said porn.
No, POM. POM.
Yeah, I was confused because your palm, right? But it looks like
POM, right? Doesn't it? POM.
He mentions porn a lot, though. So what is?
I don't know. I tried to look it up, and it came up with all kinds of definitions, and none of them made sense porn. When I said.
Look, it is porn because if you scroll on it, it's two separate letters. It's an R and an N. They are close together, so it looks like it's an M. But it's your porn because he mentions porn like constantly throughout his thing about your porn. And
now I gotta look at it again. Damn it!
Yeah, change your relationship to porn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, the R and N are they're touching.
Yeah, they're having sex. They're porn letters. Because later on it says change your relationship to porn. What the fuck?
I'm up there researching all these things. I was about to ask him about POM. I didn't know what the fuck POM was.
I should have let you do it. He's going to make just confusing.
Well, I'm glad you, because I'm looking at it on a computer screen. So I'm looking at it on like a 22-inch screen, and that looks like POM. And it wasn't until you told me that I saw that little tiny dip between the N and the R.
Yeah, you can scroll, like if you're going to go copy it, you can copy one letter at a time, and you can see that they're two different letters. It's just
okay, yeah, you're right, yeah. Because like when you look at words, the word above it, words, you can see the gap between the R and the D.
Right.
And you look at energy, you can see the gap between the R and the G. But on porn, there is no gap between the R and the N.
It does look like POM. That was my first thing when I went to the site before, and then I was like, oh, but he's talking about porn everywhere. That must say porn over there. I was like, what? Upgrade your words, upgrade your porn, upgrade your porn. Well,
you don't need him to do that.
Fuck porn. Who needs porn? Affirmation sluts. Change your relationship to porn. What the? We're gonna. This is not healthy.
And porn is not about. It's about fantasy. You might as well say, there's no. I don't think there's a constructive use for porn other than making money. Yeah. And when he says so, he means by upgrade your porn. Is that like upgrading your subscription to Disney? Go from Disney to Disney Plus?
Yeah.
What, he wants you to go from Pornhub to Pornhub Plus?
Yeah, that's right. That's the or homemade porn. Are you doing whatever? But
go from 4K to 12K. My neighbor has a 12K camera. Maybe I should borrow that.
I prefer.
Good morning, Mr. Guy.
Oh,
Mr. Guy is in the audience.
This is not healthy. Like not healthy.
No porn for you.
Yeah, I would like all porn to be out of focus and not so high def. I mean, but
I want the people who did the sound effects for the Roadrunner to do the sound effects for my porn. So I want me. That's what I want.
Years ago, the day after I had the porn star on, what was her name? Eva LaVia, but that wasn't her name. That's her.
Is that the redhead?
No, she's not redhead. And that was a theatrical porn. This is an actual porn.
Be honest, the only reason why I mentioned her is because that's the first porn person I saw you interview. Well, actually, I didn't even see you interview. You and Willie were interviewing her. I was just listening. I was an audience person, and I didn't see her face. And I remember you kept saying, "I love redheads. Oh, redheads."
I do. Well,
So
I have this
I
thing.
felt creepy just for you. I felt.
No, yeah, that's fine. It's there's no doubt about it that I am still hung up on the very first infatuation, deep love, which was a hot redhead that I'm still not over 50 years later. There's no fucking hiding from that fact. I'm a
Is that the one that
dude.
left you for the other college guy?
Yeah. But then she left him for another guy. So what goes around comes around. So
she was like a college groupie. What, a letter? Was she trying to work her way through the alphabet, one fraternity at a time?
You know what? I gotta let that go.
Why? Because you weren't in a fraternity?
Yeah, well, I wasn't. I wouldn't be part of any club that would have me. You know that.
As a member, that's right. That's a good philosophy. I love that one.
But where were we? Porn. Oh yeah, the day I had after I had Eva Lovia, Lovia, is her adult star name, and her real name is Candace Horback. Like you should have just gone with that.
Yeah.
But the day after I had her on, I had this guy on who was a porn addiction guy, and he wrote a book, and he works with men who get addicted to porn. I was like, dude, that's a. I know there are addictions that you can get, video games, gambling, and whatever. But porn, I mean, you're running home every day. You can't wait to fucking throw on a VHS of porn and like beat. Oh, well,
I don't think it was the porn that they were addicted to. I think they were addicted to the feeling of an orgasm, and the porn was just a vehicle. If they could have gotten an orgasm from watching some people mow the grass, they would have been outside being addicted to mowing grass or watching people mow the grass. If they could achieve orgasm by going to the beach and watching seagulls steal food from little children, that's where they'd be.
Yeah, so I agree. That's where the dopamine hit comes from when you come and then you get the dopamine hit. But porn became his crutch to get to that, or whatever is tool that he used to get to there. But he was talking about how his porn addiction ruined his life, and there are thousands, or according to him, hundreds of thousands, millions of men out there who have ruined their lives by overdoing the porn stuff. And I could see that to be true in some, I don't know, millions, but I know you can get carried away with anything. Now, that set up a fight between him and her, and I think I had them on again, like they wouldn't come on together and fight it out. Because she, it's her business. So, and she's also got a degree in psychology, and she was saying there's no such thing as porn addiction. And he was saying, yes, there is. I had it, and blah, blah, blah. So, but I don't think when you're talking about, like we're going to be talking about today, how to get women for, when you're already a fucking loser who needs a guy to help you get women. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
and my thing is, it depends. It says the guy trying to get women. I think that depends on the type of woman you're trying to get. You understand what I'm saying? Like, okay, I have a certain, when I was in high school, I had a certain type of personality. Okay, I wrote poetry. I wasn't a jock. I could have been a jock, but my mother wouldn't sign the papers. I had, the coaches wanted me to run track and they wanted me to play football. My mother goes, no, my son has asthma and he'll die playing sports. So yeah. So I didn't have that going for me. The only thing I had going for me was from my ability to write poetry. Okay. But a lot of the girls in high school weren't sophisticated enough for poetry. So when I was trying to get a high school girlfriend, I couldn't. But at age 17, I was dating a woman who was between 35 and 38. I can't remember her age anymore, maybe 37. I'm going to cut the difference to say 36 and a half. The point is, at 17, I had the mentality and romanticism that appealed to a woman of a certain age. When I was 21, I was dating someone 42, but I couldn't find a dated someone who was 20 or 19.
I hear
Because
Janis
again,
Ian. Do you hear
huh?
Janis Ian? Hear Janis
No.
Ian? I learned the truth at 17. Ugly duckling girls like me. Or whatever. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that was me. So it's not that I couldn't attract women. I couldn't attract women that were of a certain, who wanted jocks. I could
Well,
attract
that's
women who
what
wanted,
I
yeah,
think. The idea of you can't get the woman you want. You're shooting for Hollywood supermodel, and you're really
right.
not. Is that I'm
So
not you.
yeah,
I'm just thinking guys who are going to a coach to help them get women. They could get women. They're just shooting out of their league. They're play.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I was after Lisa Phillips, and I couldn't come within 20 feet of Lisa Phillips until like much later.
I think it's
Um,
500.
and by the time Lisa Phillips was
according to
by
the
the time
document.
by the time Lisa Phillips was attracted to me, I was no longer attracted to women like Lisa Phillips.
Right.
So
So the big problem with me is that I can't say no because while I appreciate guests coming on, this is uncomfortable for me. First of all, I don't think you can advertise quiet confidence when you're going out promoting it on the internet. And, look at my quiet. Yeah, I don't know if you know this about me, but I can eat pussy like nobody's business. I mean, that's not quiet. Quiet is right. That's quiet.
yeah, that's quiet. there's I say that my mother told me this, but it's not exactly true. I say it in comedy a lot, that my mother told me. And when I say that my mother told me, what I mean is over the years, my mother gave me enough lectures that when I distill it down, I distill the lectures down to like one or two sentences. One of the sentences that I've distilled from my many lectures from my mother was, a gentleman does not brag about his sex life.
Thank
Okay.
you very much.
You do not put your business in the street, because when you put your business in the street, you're putting her business in the street, and that's not your place to put her business in the street. Now, if you want people to know who you're having sex with, fuck her brains out, and then she'll tell people.
Oh, they'll just hear her screaming from the next room.
And then you don't have to be out there bragging. They'll do the bragging. They'll go like, whoa, my man does this.
Yeah.
That's it. You do your job quietly in the bedroom and let them proclaim your proficiency loudly in public.
Exactly right.
That was the way I was
street
raised.
or on podcasts. The podcasts are the street, by the way.
Or on stage as a comedian or as a songwriter, like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift wrote a song about the guy that she's dating now or married to, whatever it is, that the football player, Travis Kelce. She wrote a song about him, and it was a Tall Wood or Tree Wood or something. But the other songs that she wrote about all the other guys were like, he was miserable. He stole my panties. That kind of stuff.
Did she write something like that? She stole my panties.
But the thing is that the joke about her was that if you dated her, once you broke up, you're going to wind up in a song. And she had all these negative songs about all these negative guys.
I was her before she was her.
No, but I'm saying, now the most recent song she wrote about a guy is called what, Mr. Tree or Mr. Wood, or I don't know, talking about Travis Kelce. Right. That's what I'm talking about. And you didn't hear Travis Kelce walking around going, man, I'm doing blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, he quietly did his business. And she says, this is so good, I have to write a song about it.
The great Henry Phillips says, this is a quote from the great Henry Phillips, I prefer to let other people sing my praises. I like that. But, Taylor Swift, somebody stole the panties. Were they available on eBay?
I don't know.
How much?
I don't know. I don't know any Taylor Swift songs. I just know what people say about her.
Let me see eBay. I'm going to search for Taylor Swift panties. So I'm sure somebody bought them by now. I don't know. But this is going to be an uncomfortable conversation for me, and I'm I
think it could be enlightening. I don't think it has to be uncomfortable. I mean, because the thing is, he's going to say some things, and we can just agree or disagree.
I'm not going to say get off my show. I'm glad you got ass raped by guys in a circle. Because did you see this picture? He's doing his guru thing, kind of. He's surrounded by dudes in a circle. And
I didn't look at that. I didn't get that. That didn't go that far. I was stuck on. Once I saw the word palm, I started researching, trying to figure what he could mean by that, and I got totally distracted.
Pomegranate.
Right? Yeah, that came up, and I said if I plug the word pomegranate into that sentence, it does not make sense. So, and then there was some kind of polyurethane, some kind of chemical compound, and I said that doesn't make sense if I plug that in. And so I was down a totally different rabbit hole.
Can you see these guys? I don't know, these guys here.
Okay, now this is what's happening. Okay, right now, everybody, they know where those guys are, right? His friend, the guy, Ross has a backer, a financial backer, and he says to Ross, I want you to hold a meeting, and he has all these guys at the meeting, and then while they're there with Ross's partner is out having sex with all their girls.
I thought you were going to say with all those guys in the
with the girlfriends.
Oh yeah,
because he knows where they are. They're out there going, I can't keep my girlfriend happy, and Ross's partner's going like, weak, I can. Well, I know where you're going to be Thursday night, so I'm going to make my rounds. Because I have good palm.
Rosy palm and the 5 fingers of 5 sisters or something. See, it's already getting to the point where I'm bashing. To me, if you want to scam people, and I'm not saying this is a scam, but if you want to scam people, if your target audience is already men who have no confidence, then you can scam them because they're never going to have the confidence to say, hey, scam me, right? they're the ultimate prime target for scamming. Yeah, you need help building up your confidence. I can help you. Give me all your money. And then it didn't work. And they're just like, I don't have the confidence to call this guy on this.
I'm beginning to think that every, quote, system works for somebody. You know, I mean, I don't know what he does. I know it wouldn't work for me because I have my own system, and that's called I'm married. I don't need a system.
Yeah, my system is I'm almost dead. Who needs women? I have enough trouble disappointing one woman. That's my calendar is all full with this. But we could issue a challenge. You know, if you're as good as you say it, go score Anna de Armas today.
And he would say, I don't want her.
I want you to just do it for me. It's my palm. Do it for my palm. Oh, blowing off steam here. I got to pull that out. I forgot I was still doing that. But yeah, so I might die. Yeah, who cares? Nobody will miss me. You won't miss me when I'm gone.
Yeah, I would for a couple of days. Then I had to decide: do I want to try to do a podcast on my own? I'm not podcast. Do I want to try to do a digital broadcast? Because you put a lot of work into this. A lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of energy. And I think that by the time I put that much time and energy into something like this, then I too would be dead.
It's not paying off.
Well, it wasn't until Facebook kicked you off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's true. Fucking Facebook. I got, what do I got? I got 22 more days until they let me back on. I didn't do anything wrong. If I did something wrong and I deserved it, I own up to that. There have been times when I've gotten bans on YouTube, and I said, yeah, I fucked up. But this thing with Facebook, and they refuse to kind of even review it. Fuck them, man. Facebook, you killed a lot of money for me. Not from this. For the people that I work for, putting paid ads together for.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way you can't get around it by giving the ads directly to them and then having them or
no, because if they I told one of them they should just disown me, and they don't want to do that. But I was like, I can feed you the ad, you can post it yourself. I can walk you through posting it. But the minute they see that you have me as a manager on your account, then they stop. So all the accounts that have me listed as a manager on their dashboard, he's got the cooties. I got the cooties. I don't know. Did you ever have the cooties? Did you get a cootie shot?
No, but I've been called a cutie.
You didn't get a cootie shot?
No, but I've been called a cutie. after a woman's had a few shots.
Thank you, Sunshine. Sunshine said she will miss me. Or maybe she means with the rifle. She's not very good at shot, but I want to go back to school with this quantum mechanics thing. It just pissed me off that Einstein's the only one who cared about this spooky action at a distance. And then, oh, well, that's cool. We'll just it doesn't make any sense. But on some level, it's comforting to know that there might be magic. Like, I hate to say the word God or something, but when it doesn't make sense and they talk magic, the whole idea, I think, of physics is to just make everything understandable on a natural. And so when it goes to the supernatural, you got to think, well, anything's possible. Then there could be a God. I would really like there to be a God. And this is the thing I wanted to kind of write a blog piece about. Atheists generally don't want God. Like, they don't believe in God, but they are against the idea of God. They get angry about God. And not all atheists, but all the ones I've talked to in my life, they just are, and especially Christians. They're like mad at Christians for some reason. They're not mad at like Muslims or Buddhists. Buddhists are hard to get mad at, but Hindus or whatever. But and agnostics supposedly don't care, right?
Well, it's not that agnostic doesn't care. They're just middle of the road. Yeah, right. I guess that's close to indifference. They're just. Well,
I don't know where I'd fall in this because I'm not a theist. I would like to believe in God. I would, but I haven't seen any strong enough evidence. I've seen slight circumstantial evidence that lasts a day, that kind of stuff, moving stuff that makes you feel inspired. Like it could be something. Right. I would like to believe in God. I would, but I don't. So I'm not an atheist in the sense that I'm against the idea of God. I really would like, but atheists, you'll never find an atheist say, I would like to believe in God. And I would. I sincerely would like, and not the God of judgment that's going to send me to hell.
Right.
The God that is going to give me not 72 virgins either, just a nice place in the clouds there where I can just be at peace with my dog.
Well, I don't even see. I don't, and I mean, my thing, and this again, this is just, I am so tired of injustice, and the one that I want, the God that I want, would be taking care of injustice now, okay, like not waiting till after we were dead, because the damage has been done.
Yeah.
And like now, be a little more proactive, or like, matter of fact, don't even let him be born. If God can read your heart, then he can see what Trump's about. It's like, no, I can see where this is going. Done. Or set up 3 planets. Set up 3 planets, not just one.
I would like,
and he could have 3 Earths. Okay, Earth 1 for the people whose heart he reads, who know they want to try and believe. Earth 2 for the people who like, well, let's see what happens. And then Earth 3 for the people that he knows just aren't going to give a fuck about other peoples and other animals. And then show them, like on big screens, what the other planets are like, so they can go, whoa, this is what I could have had on Earth 1. Look, where other people like live in peace, and all these races just walk around together, and they just have beautiful loving relationships, and clean air. And all I have to sacrifice is, I don't have to have Amazon Prime. I have the patience to wait a few days for something. I can have that. And then, and so you see, even if God doesn't want to make God itself known, because let's say God likes to wear lipstick and he doesn't want people to see that. Just the 3 planets, make the 3 worlds, and let each world see what the other planet has done. Like on a BBC thing, BBC 1, BBC 2, BBC 3, and they can watch the other planets and go, "Whoa, that's what I could have had."
Yeah,
that's my God. My God is a little more high tech, more.
You remember when Trump first came on the political scene that people were saying?
How could I forget?
People were saying
people got paid to watch him come down.
The Christian people were saying God knows he's evil, but God can use evil people for good and all that kind of stuff. But now we are seeing high-profile maggots and podcasters who helped them get elected, and all these people on Twitter are saying, I voted for him 3 times and it was a mistake, and even a few of them have come out and said, yeah, Harris would have been a better president, which, that's like pulling teeth to get him to say that. But I haven't seen any people in my real life come out and go that far. Like people I know who voted for him for 3 times. I had a couple of people denied the voting for him in 2024 now, in the last couple of weeks. I voted for him first and second time, but I didn't vote for him last. Yeah, you didn't vote for her. What'd you do? Just sit home? Anyway, but I'm seeing it publicly in a lot of these maggots coming out and Marjorie Taylor Greene. You can go down. There are people who are disowning him, but not in real life. They're all on Twitter and Facebook and in the news, the Sunday morning shows. Nobody at least not enough people in real life.
Because I know, like, there's a gentleman, he's a Republican congressman out of California, Kevin Kiley. He's going to run for re-election as an independent. He is tired of the GOP, and Trump. He's just tired of their ineffectiveness, and they're capitulating to him all the time. He's just tired of it.
How bad is it going to get? Because I think oil is $120 a barrel now, and Strait of Hormuz is still closed off. How they're saying the sky's the limit. I mean, I know in you can't go by California, right? You never can go by California when it comes to gas prices for some reason, and I can't figure this out because they're a oil producing state, California. Why it should be $8 a gallon there when it's $3.50?
Well, I think the extra prices in California was how they cleaned up their air. I think that was part of it. That some of that money was used to clean up their water, their air, and stuff like that. I think, and I also think the way their legislation was set up, once they put some of those taxes and rules in place, it made it really, really hard to get them out of place. To take them back. As a matter of fact, I don't think they can take them back because of their financial model almost requires it now.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can take it back.
Even if you take California out of the picture, the national average has gone up like 40 cents in the last week and a half, right?
Oh, it's gone up. It's gone up here just about 50 to 60 cents per gallon in the past week or so.
I'm Googling. I'm not going to get the right answer here, am I? Gas prices in California are consistently higher than the national average due to a combination of the highest state taxes, fees, strict environmental regulations, and geographically isolated fuel market. All right. It doesn't
pretty much what I said, except for the isolated geographic fuel market, except for that part. But everything else I pretty much covered. Yeah. Yay!
Double the price because it is double. It's like $8 a gallon there. It's like, wow, insane. But so
now, I don't remember when I was just out there, I don't remember it being $8 a gallon. But to be honest, and that's because I was using an all electric car. It was an all electric car. Never stopped at a gas pump.
Yeah. Somebody just posted it the other day now, and I think it was a MAGA person who posted it. They were like astonished. God, I'm just trying to see what it is. If I'm just exaggerating, I don't want to exaggerate. Average price of gas in California. Me and my one finger typing in California. Wow, are you listening to me?
I'm listening to you.
Not you. I'm talking to my browser because it had in California before I even started. Average prices $5.20. There are isolated as much as $7.60 a gallon in so almost $8 a gallon in places.
But that's what you're talking about. They said the isolated places where it's really hard to get them gasoline.
Right. $5.20 is the average. Wow, it's still way more. Wow.
Yeah, it's like $1.50 more a gallon than, but not New York, Pennsylvania is like is like 12 miles from my house, and that's like 30 cents a gallon more. Like 12 miles from my house, and I can go 12 miles in the other direction and still be in Maryland and pay 30 cents a gallon less. Which is why whenever I'm driving to Pennsylvania, I always fill up here first, so I can drive straight through Pennsylvania and not gas up.
Yeah, I could drive down to Poospatuck and save like 30 cents a gallon down there for whatever reason. I don't know why I don't know.
And I'm about to kick myself in the ass. I needed an adapter for my car, because I have an electric gas car. It's both. But the nozzle that I have is not the same nozzle that they use at the pumps for quick recharges. So I can recharge my electric engine like an hour. I have the one where they that are like free and they're slow, and it's like 8 to 12 hours to recharge my car fully.
Yeah.
Which is a pain in the butthole.
See, if you are going to kick yourself in the ass, I think you should get somebody to videotape that because we'd like
Well,
to see what that looks like.
I went to the dealership to get the adapter, and they didn't have one. They didn't have one, and I should have ordered it, or I don't know.
But this whole, I don't get the physical acumen it takes to kick yourself in the ass. I don't know if I could. I mean, what, you're gonna heal yourself because you can hit with yourself in the ass with your heel, but that's not like I mean, I would like to see the agility it takes to actually kick yourself in the ass.
Well, I can do it with my heel. I've always been able to do it with my heel.
Yeah, but I'm looking for like a field goal type of kick in the ass.
No, I wouldn't even do that to myself. I'm not into self-harm.
I wonder if it could be done. This is a challenge, the Mind Dog Challenge. Kick yourself in the ass and get it on tape and send it in so we can have some content, because we have no content. Obviously, right here there is no content. I have this stepson. His name is Eric. He went to Midland, Texas, a couple of years ago. He's been working there. He drove there, and when he got there, he could not renew his license. But I don't know why he couldn't renew his license. It's just go to the DMV, right, and just do it. He didn't, and then his car lacked registration, and so he's got this car that's been sitting there. He lives and works on like a resort or something, so he doesn't have to use the car much at all. It's been sitting there for 3 years. Now he decides he wants to come home. And his car's been sitting there. He hasn't even, I bet you I don't know this for a fact, but I'm betting he didn't even start it in the last 3 years. But the car's registration lacked, and he doesn't know how to get it registered. Like, 39 years old. Figure these things out, right? Don't you figure these things out? So I said, get me the VIN number, and I'll see about like what we can do. He wants to come home. His mother's saying he should just fly home and leave the car there, like or sell it car cash. I said, no, I'll go out there. I'll fly out there, get the car, and drive him home. Why did I volunteer myself for it? But she said, no, the car's unregistered. So now I'd have to get it registered in Midland, Texas, and buy him insurance and all that shit. I'm thinking, New Mexico, you don't need car insurance. If I could get the car somehow to New Mexico, register it there, and drive it across.
You mean like maybe talk to someone like a guy named Craig Johnson? Maybe.
Well, he's too far in. He's too far into New Mexico. I'm just thinking Clovis. He's all the way in Albuquerque. That's a distance. Right? Is that still true, Craig? If you're still there, you don't need car insurance in New Mexico, right? There's just not enough cars to make it mandatory. That's fucking funny. So I don't know. It's like, what will you do? Just sell the car? Just leave it there?
I wouldn't have a car that was not insured and registered.
Right. 39 years old.
That's not even. I don't even. That's not even conceivable to me.
And especially when
that's probably a black thing. And that's probably a thing. Like, no, I'm not just saying age. I'm not saying that only black people think that way. But
I think that
having
way.
grown up, having grown up in the sense that no matter, I've been to so many places where people wanted my registration and tags for no fucking good reason, other than the fact that they saw me driving and I was in the wrong neighborhood. And so, yes, I am prepared to go into drive into like almost any neighborhood in the country,
Yeah. And my wife said, well, you can't drive the car, even if you get it registered in New Mexico, you can't drive it across the country with New Mexico plates on it uninsured. It's like, yeah, people do that all the time.
Oh, yeah, you can't actually, no, you can. Now, whether or not that's a wise thing,
if you get in an accident, you're fucked.
Right.
Fucked.
Now, whether or not it's wise is different, but you can do it. You can drive a stolen car all across the country, and as long as you don't get stopped, you're okay. My thing is that I would be stopped.
Do we have a disclaimer where we're not encouraging people to break the law? No, we don't.
Well, that's because
he's blowing off steam or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah, that's it. That covers everything except for self-ideation.
But yeah, when you get to you go from here to Texas, the first thing you do is you get especially if you're planning on staying there for several years, you go get yourself a Texas license, and then you register your car in Texas. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm almost to the point where advising them to just call Car Cash. I don't know if they even have that in Midland, Texas, and just have them come in. And they kind of rip you off, but at least you get some money for it, buy your plane ticket and come home. And then he's here without a car. You can't be here without a car. In this part of Long Island, you can't exist. You can't exist without a car. And nothing is within walking distance. And they don't have buses or mass transit out here either. So he's going to need that car. I don't know. Everybody's problem. This is the thing. When you're becoming the old geezer dude, everybody's problem becomes your problem. It's like, oh, you got a problem? Oh, let's give it to Matt. He needs more problems. That's what it is. I'm going to be in trouble for this, aren't I?
No.
I'm probably going to have to. I'm probably going to have to call the Ross Lewin and say, I need a new wife. Can you get me a new wife? One whose kids have cars.
Your wife loves you as best she can for whatever reason she has.
I'm not talking about my wife here, but somebody I know who looks like my wife, sounds like my wife, and
brings you sandwiches like your wife.
Yeah, she works in an assisted living place, and there's a guy in there. The guy was getting two people who live in the assisted living place were getting married. They were having a wedding on Saturday, and she says the guy smokes pot like a fucking chimney in an assisted living place. It's like, this is I'm ready. What? I don't want. Well, Social Security pay for that, and they give him a stipend. I'll take the stipend. Put me in an assisted living place. Give me the stipend for the weed, and just have like people, because they give you a bath. They come and you're in the shower. They wash. It's like they treat you like a nursing home. They do all of it, but you have to kind of. The 3 meals a day, you're not really in control of what you got to eat, whatever they fucking feed you there, whatever.
Well, I thought you pulled from a menu, because my mom was she was in a hospice. So that's different.
Yeah, well, it's not that much different. I think you're right. You choose from a menu, but you're not in control. You're not a
in other words, if they're serving lasagna, but you don't want lasagna, you probably can't get lasagna. I mean, you probably can't get like a chicken cheesesteak sandwich.
Yeah. You can only get what they're serving that day. You can, and that stipend. I mean, how much could that stipend be? It can't cut. She says he smokes weed all fucking day long. I was like, well, it's not that inexpensive. Their stipend has to be good. So the Social Security.
Well, it's also possible that he's getting weed from other people who also have a stipend, as I say, and so he's like making a trade. He goes like, "Hey, look, I have a girlfriend, and I only use her like 1 day a week.
So it's a hard eye stipend.
You can use her for 2 days and give me your stipend. Stipend.
Is it? I don't know. Is it stipend or stipend? Anybody know about that?
Look. I say stipend, and the company that I used to work for used to give us a stipend, called it a stipend. And if the people that was giving me the money want to call it that,
you want to call, you can give me you can call it whatever you want. If you're
That's right. Once you're giving me money to eat. Okay, stipend it is.
Yeah.
I don't care if they were calling it. I don't care if they were calling it reparations. Fine, I'll take reparations.
Every day I get calls for. I don't know. You probably don't get these because you're just different than me.
I do get calls, but I have my phone on. Doesn't ring. It doesn't ring loudly, so I don't know about it till later.
These calls from people because now you don't have iPhone, right? But iPhone changed this thing where there's like they get to leave a voice message even before it goes to voice. Like you haven't. I don't even know how this works. They ask you who it is and what you want to talk about to see if he'll pick up. This is the new iOS thing. So they leave this message as they're calling, and as it's still ringing, it says, "Hi, this is Karen from Medicare. I have an important message about your Medicare." All day long, I'm getting stuff about my Medicare stuff. It's like I wouldn't even know. I don't have a primary doctor. I don't know who it is. I don't. So with this thing I got going on, like go to a doctor, man. I don't. I don't want to go down that route because I'll go to the doctor. Next thing you know, I'll be in the hospital. They'll be fucking sticking wires in me and tubes in me. Let's do tests. Oh, we found out he's got this kind of cancer. We found out he's got this kind of liver disease. Whatever. And then they never let you go. It's like you're hooked up to tubes and wires. And that's how you're gonna die in the hospital.
And see, and I don't have that experience. I mean, I've had three surgeries that I had to be put under for. I've had a number of procedures that I had to be put under for. They didn't keep me. They got me the fuck out of there as soon as they could.
Oh yeah, that's probably true. Now they don't want to keep you around. They used to want to keep you around for the bed.
I have my knee replaced. And I was home within hours, and with drugs and
but, I'm going to say that's because they knew what was wrong with you. If they don't know what's wrong with you, then they want to do tests. Well, we got to do more tests. Let's do more tests.
Well, there was a time, when I had I was in the hospital for about a week because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I knew what was wrong with me. They didn't want to listen to me. And so eventually they did. We compromised. They said, give us one more day, and if we can't figure this out, then we'll do what you want, which is exploratory surgery. And they did the exploratory surgery, and they found exactly what I told them they'd find, exactly where I told them they would find it.
Wow.
And they couldn't find it with the CAT scans, and had me drinking all this dye, so stuff would show up on the CAT scans and stuff. Couldn't find it. But the pain was like relentless. So much so that they did the exploratory surgery and found exactly what I told them. And that took them about a week, I guess.
So tomorrow.
But as soon as they did the surgery, I don't even think that they had, as soon as I can have like a bowel movement on my own, they kicked me out the hospital.
They let you go.
Yeah, like get out.
What you mute my? No, you're not muted. Something, we're not hearing you. I'm not here. Did I pull my thing out?
I don't know if you pulled your thing out.
Yeah, I pulled my thing out. Look at that.
Oh.
I'm a thing puller out. Like, what happened? You just went deaf. I went deaf. Tomorrow, our guest is Sarah Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
Let's forget about her.
Okay, I don't know who she is.
No, there's a movie called Forgetting Sarah Marshall. That's why I said it. But, Kristen Bell.
You finish your thought. I'll tell you what I was thinking in a second.
Well, Kristen Bell and that dude, I can't remember the dude's name now, but and Russell Brand is in that movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It was really a cool comedy, whatever, romantic comedy, whatever. And that Iranian chick, Mia Kunis or something.
Oh, yeah, okay.
She's in that movie. It's a good movie. So Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but Sarah Marshall is not that Sarah Marshall. But like, I think it's a pen name, and if you're gonna choose a pen name as an author, go James Bond. You don't pick movie title names, right? Maybe you do. Obviously, you do. But
we don't know that that's why she picked it. It could have been a coincidence. I mean, she could have picked it, let's say, honoring her mother and her aunt.
Maybe she doesn't know. Yeah, maybe she doesn't know.
And it just came out to be Sarah Marshall. We don't know.
I think it might be a trans person. I don't know. What do I know? But what does that have to do with Sarah Marshall? It had nothing to do with Sarah Marshall. So I'm just a disgusting Joe Rogan said, more people have been killed by trans people in ICE. That's what Joe Rogan said. That's a disgusting thing to say. It really is. First of all, he's talking about one kid who happened to be a trans person up in Canada who did a mass shooting. Canada doesn't count. If you're going to compare ICE, ICE is only an American thing. Talk about ICE versus Americans, right? Not
or if you're going to broaden it like that, then talk about avalanches. People are killed by that. Yeah, if you're going to spread it out, then do it. Spread it out evenly or disevenly.
He's just showing his hatred.
Disingenuous. If you're going to be disingenuous, go all in on the disingenuousness.
I'm not sure with him whether he's being disingenuous or he's just repeating shit that other people told him.
Okay, like, he's repeating other disingenuous shit.
Yeah, but he doesn't. I'm not sure he knows it is.
Well, he should check it out before he starts repeating it to millions of people.
Yeah, and that's my biggest beef with him is he has oftentimes bragged about how big his audience is and how much influence he has, and then he goes and does stuff says stuff without having any idea of whether he's telling the truth or not, and that that's irresponsible. It's just plain irresponsible. You don't do that. If you know you have a big audience, you know you have influence, you dedicate yourself to making sure you know what the fuck you're talking about. Not like us. We have no influence. We have nobody gives a shit what we say, so we can lie.
Now, speaking of not giving a shit, I did finally got around to watching Goodfellas yesterday. Yes. And it was funny. There was a scene that I said, Matt says this all the time. I was like, why did you do that, Karen? Why?
Why would you do that, Karen? And it's the stupidest fucking line.
I thought I flushed it down the toilet.
Why did you do that, Karen? That's all we had.
They were never going to find it. It's like I'm sitting there going to say, well, they would have found it. They were, they've been in the house. They were surveilling him for months. They knew exactly what he did.
She found it. She's not a cop. She's not.
Well, that's because he knew where she put it. Because he put it in the cupboard, where for her to, and so she knew.
They would have never looked in the cupboard.
Right. What? No.
Yeah.
From the other house, they had all kinds of groceries, boxes, like they were hiding in the pancake mix. They took everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was. Now I don't know how real, because it's apparently supposed to be. If I understand it, it was like supposed to be like almost autobiographical, like a biopic.
It totally is. Yes.
And I don't know how much of that was rewritten for Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like things. Like this compression, multiple characters compressed together, time compressed, and I don't know exactly enough details to know what did and didn't happen. But overall, I thought it was a good movie. I liked the point of view, and that's one of the things I'm going to use in my parody. I don't think I should call it a parody, but my homage is the way they switched from him telling the story to her telling the story to him telling the story.
Yeah.
I like that. So I think I'm going to have that. I'm going to have one of the apostles telling the story, and then have Mary Magdalene tell the story also. So I'm going to have the two of them narrating.
It's kind of like it's the way it really worked out with the Gospels and all that stuff. But as far as I know, and this, I hate to sound like one of these mafia wannabes, because I am ashamed of the people that I grew up around who were glorifying the mob and their loose connections to all that stuff. So I don't say this in any way to kind of, oh, look at me, I'm all mobbed up. No, but I know people who were very involved in that thing. And from what I can tell, it's pretty accurate. I mean, all the characters are very closely aligned with the real people they're playing. The only things are like Henry Hill was a dog ugly looking dude. He's not Ray Liotta. I mean, he wasn't a charmer and all that stuff. He wasn't tall and handsome. None of that. But I mean, as far as the viciousness, as far as the stuff about the Lufthansa heist, all that stuff, I know for a fact is very close.
Yeah, like the Lufthansa heist. I knew, like I knew enough about that to know that that actually happened, but I didn't know. I can't remember things like I don't remember like what the things that they had connected to it. Like I don't remember Samuel L. Jackson getting killed behind it. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
but
that's pretty accurate.
they,
What was it? What was his name? Stacks or something.
Stacks.
Stacks. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Now I did learn something about. Honestly, I learned something about my blackness in a general rule of thumb. In a general rule of thumb, I learned in a general application about me being black. I did learn something about myself watching that movie. One of the issues I always had with movies that are like exclusively about one particular culture to the exclusion of other cultures. I mean, there are places like I know there are places where you can go to that are like all Italians and all Chinese and all Hindu, all black. I've been to those places, and so there are movies that bother me when they tell it like that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like that, or it's not actually like that. I've always like I don't like period pieces because to me that's just Hollywood's way of saying we don't want any black people in this movie. So we're going to have a period piece. So we can say, well, there weren't any black people because Hollywood has a tendency to not put minorities in their movies. And period pieces is a wonderful way to do it. And so I have this rebellion against period pieces, against movies that seem to be done for the sole purpose of excluding people. But one of the things I learned about that was because whenever I watch a movie like about a really well done movie about like a family and one ethnic group and their culture, I was feeling the jealousy because I don't have that connection to my own quote people, to my African heritage. I don't have that. I know people who are like first generation, second generation Indian. And not say Indian, I mean like Hindu, like the country India. And they're still connected to their heritage. They can speak the language, or they know the language, or their relatives speak the language. They know that. I don't have that. I don't know any relatives living in Africa. And so there was a certain amount of jealousy that I had because I didn't have a culture. But one of the things that I really realized is that some of the things that we have in this country that passed as culture was just made up because they didn't have the connection with their actual culture. And so they like reinvented it here. They reinvented it what it meant to be Irish here. They reinvented what it meant to be Italian here. So the Americanized version. And so it's the same thing with quote my African heritage. I get to reinvent, or we get to reinvent what it means to be black here, as opposed to the actual connection. And so I don't have that all figured out because it just became like a cohesive thought yesterday that I was, literally yesterday it became like a cohesive thought. I could understand some of my jealousy. I could understand some of that.
It looks like Ross Lewin is walking around his house there. Like
I think he's killing time. And he's also looking for good lighting.
Is he? Oh,
I don't know. I'm just saying that. I have no idea.
I don't know. You think, Ross, if you're there, you want to give us, if you're ready, give us a thumbs up and we'll bring you in. All right, he's ready.
That's a thumbs up.
All right.
And look, he's holding a microphone just like the other guy did.
Who's the Big T was holding the mic.
Big T.
Big T is a stand-up comedian, so he's used to holding the mic, right?
Well, but now I don't want him to be. I have to go get my microphone so I can hold it too.
All right, I should go get one, but I'm too lazy, and you know what? It's too far away. Ross Lewin is erotic leadership educator. I believe this is the first erotic leadership educator we've had on in the last 7 years or so. Culture builder and creative entrepreneur. He teaches men. Not men and women. He teaches men how to become powerful without being a douche.
So it's not like that Canadian guy we had who was the one that resembled you.
Yeah.
who
Oh,
was
well, yeah. They resemble. He looked exactly like me. That guy. Without being a douche or a doormat, his work sits at the intersection of masculinity, nervous system regulation, sacred sexuality, and modern dating. Uh, he helped kind, intelligent men build confidence that feels grounded, ethical, and attractive without relying on manipulation or performance. He's here now, ladies and gentlemen. Say hello to Ross Lewin. Good morning, Ross.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right. Tell us about how you got started in this, because it's I don't think we've had anybody who called himself an erotic leadership educator on ever before. Are you the only one in America?
Oh, of course not. Of course not. No. Yeah, I think the genre of work that I do is most closely related to Tantra. Have you guys heard of Tantra?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, and I was going to bring that up later.
Oh, you were? You're going to get up your tantra?
No, I was going to bring that up because there was similarities between what he was saying and what I know about tantric
He hasn't
yoga.
said anything yet. Now let him say. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I got started just through having a life, and having issues with connecting with women and having confidence issues and growing up and trying to, do something about that. And then, I started I'm kind of a shorter guy, so I faced a lot of societal pressures of trying to be the ideal man and failing at that. So I kind of dove into trying to do something about that, and yeah, I leaned towards the douche side for a little bit, actually, looking at all the pickup artists out there and trying to make something work for myself and my circle of friends. And so, eventually I landed at some more what I consider ethical ways of connecting with people. And I found spirituality, and I found something called breath science. Before doing this, I was actually coaching combat athletes like wrestlers, MMA, and jiu-jitsu athletes how to calm their nervous systems into being higher performers. And I found a big link there between that and connecting with people and having people feel safe around you. So yeah, all of my life's work kind of culminated into being this erotic leadership coach and kind of like a dating coach for men. My partner and I, we have a venue here in Philadelphia, and we host different workshops about leadership and Tantra. She hosts a lot of women's events, and I mostly focus on men, and then we bring them together for different rituals and workshops and events, and it's called Sacred Sexuality. So yeah, we're dealing with sexuality in a way that is grounded. We're tuning into the moment. There's a lot of crap out there right now as far as sexuality, and just kind of glossing it over and just feeling into the physical about sexuality. And there's just another universe of intricacies and subtleties that can be explored and enjoyed in anyone's sexuality, that can be, not just in sex, but also in your whole life. And you can find tantric pleasure in washing the dishes, or having a conversation with a friend, or just loving yourself. And there's so many ways to do that, and so it's a whole big burgeoning field right now.
Well, count me out. I'm a self-loather from birth, and it's too late. It's too late to help me on that. So, but maybe the rest of the stuff on your website, it says upgrade your words, upgrade your porn, which GD thought it said palm, and I could see why, because the R and E and are very close together. And upgrade your energy. The porn stuff is, of course, what I'm going to focus in on.
Sure.
What do you mean by your porn? You're not talking about, because we were talking earlier about a guy I had on who was a porn addiction recovery guy. You're not talking about actual pornography, are you? Or are you?
I am, actually. Yeah, I am. So part of the work that I do is helping men to transition away from unhealthy porn, which is focusing on what's outside of you. It often creates a lot of shame in men. It creates a habit of escapism. And I actually started creating my own porn, which is around affirmations and the people on screen affirming your worthiness and how much you deserve connection. And so, yeah, like from what I've noticed, when you're watching porn, when you're in your sexuality, you're in a deeply receptive space. And in, most men's habit of watching porn, they check out and they often afterwards don't feel good about themselves. So yeah, I created a type of porn that uses the elements of tantra and meditation and breath work to bring men into a higher vibration with themselves, to love themselves more. And it's not so far away from what they're used to watching, but it does have a much higher energy and vibration that leaves them feeling good about themselves afterwards. It's called affirmation sluts.
Just a little more clarification here. You're shooting porn, and it's commercially available porn, so that the people can rent it or see it or whatever. Is that? Just please clarify for me.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've gone through quite a few iterations of it over the years. At this point now, the vast majority of it is only available within my coaching system. So I wanted to align with the motifs that we talk about in our coaching platform. We have a course. It's called the Big Depth Energy course, and the topics in the course align with the homework of going and having a self-pleasure ritual, or watching the affirmation sluts content. So it's mostly not commercially available, though it is part of my course here.
There you go.
Okay, I have a question about, you were talking about working with people who did jiu-jitsu, MMA, basically physical contact sports, so to speak.
Sure.
And so my question is, if I understand correctly, with you, when you were working with them, you weren't like working with them training for the physical thing, but basically teaching them how to turn off the aggression when they are no longer in combat mode. Because some people, that's my understanding. That's what I'm trying to get clarified, because I know some people are athletes and they do those things, but they do not know how to turn it off when they're not there. And so they remain in combat mode all the time. Is that what it was that you were doing with them?
Well, it's part of it. Being able to ramp down your energy so you can rest, relax, and recover was a huge part of that. And that's still something that I teach today. But there's also another component, which is breath training, which is training your body to be more efficient with the oxygen that you breathe in. So that means like breathing out less oxygen and being able to tolerate more carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is the main way that our body kind of like panics when we start to gas out, and we start to, exercise and not have enough air. So yeah, I noticed that those elements of panic from air hunger were very similar to the elements of panic that men feel when they are approaching a woman or just in a stressful situation in general. So it is also about ramping down, like you said, but the element of having more buffers to carbon dioxide and changes in pH levels in your body really help you to be grounded during combat and during stressful situations. So there's a whole bunch of different tactics that people do. It's got a lot of ties into the freediving world, which is like holding your breath. Yeah, and so there's a lot of science behind oxygen efficiency that went into my work.
Now it sounds to me like you're basically just saying to them they just need to breathe. A lot of people, when they get into stressful situations, they just forget to breathe. They go to talk to someone or go to perform, and they forget to breathe, and they hold their breath. They don't know they're doing it, and so they're not in touch with the moment. So they resort to an old tape, and if they want to be present in the moment, they breathe, and so they can forget the fact that in 12 hours they'll be a football player, and 12 hours ago they were a football player, but right now they're just a guy in a bar having drinks with their friends or something like that. So that just seems, that's what I'm getting out of it, just to breathe.
Yeah. People do forget to breathe, and everyone is different and they develop different habits of breathing. So, as we grew up, you may have developed a pattern of holding your breath when your situations got intense, or you have a certain pattern for when you get angry or when you get sad or when you get nervous. And rarely are these habitual patterns of breathing really healthy. Like breathing in completely, filling your lungs. And the body has a lot of natural mechanisms where when you have a deep breath, when you use your whole breath system for a breath, it releases all sorts of relaxation hormones and biochemicals. So training yourself to breathe properly when you're under stress it's a huge life skill, and it's a big part of what I do.
Let's talk about confidence, because I think from what I've read so far, it seems like you work with men who don't have a lot of confidence in finding confidence. Is that
Yeah,
fair?
that's definitely one of the things that we work on.
Can you have too much confidence?
I don't think so. I think you can be a douche about it. You can.
You should meet Willie, a guy who used to be on this program. I mean, he was full of Dunning-Kruger confidence, that kind of like misplaced confidence with his prowess with women. And it's just braggart to the extreme. But it didn't reflect the reality of the situation ever. And that's because we were talking earlier, and I said, I think a lot of men who feel like they can't find a woman for themselves, I think they are playing way out of their league. Like they're going for a Hollywood supermodel, and they're not that. They're not the best looking person. They don't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot going on in their life. They are projecting, I want to be with the Hollywood starlet. Well, you know what? She's got $7 million in a pick from all the guys in Hollywood. Why would you? So that kind of overconfident, or thinking they belong in that, and then they get shot down and end up with nobody. And because you're refusing to have a real honest assessment of your own attractiveness, worthiness, readiness for a relationship.
No,
sure. I mean, people can shoot up. People are able to portray their value in a way that's attractive beyond what just they look like. I think what you're talking about with overconfidence is actually needing to convince people that you're worthy, or needing to portray this thing of confidence. But real confidence is actually from within. Real confidence, you don't need to convince anybody. You're just conveying your value. And that is something that makes people feel safe and relaxed around you. And I think when a man, no matter what he looks like, is able to make the people around him feel relaxed and feel good, that's attractive. And especially women, they care more about that than what you look like or how much money in the bank you have. And those things are important to some women for sure, but how you make them feel and how stable you are in your masculinity and how much you can show up positively in stressful situations and hold it down for them. I think women are caring more about that these days. So it's certainly possible to date someone who's more conventionally attractive to you. But you have to own it. You have to have the ability to hold yourself through that and be a quality person for that.
Right.
Now, when we were talking, or Matt and I was talking earlier, I said something similar to what he's saying. Only he was talking about shooting up, and I'm just talking about shooting laterally, in the sense that I'm talking about compatibility.
You don't have to say the shooting part makes me giggle.
So, for example, when I was in high school, I was a poet. I loved to write poetry, and I used to when I found a young lady that I thought was attractive, I would write her a poem. Now, most of the girls in high school thought that made me queer and gay and not exactly masculine. And so I was not, even though on paper, I was the guy they wanted, but in real life, they were pursuing the jocks. Okay. I was not the jock. And so it's not that I wasn't a good boy, wouldn't have been a good boyfriend or something. But in order for me I needed to find someone who appreciated me for where I was, because I was not going to become a jock to get them. I needed to find a group of young ladies, or a young lady that was interested in a guy who liked to write poetry for them. A guy who, yes, he could fight, but he'd rather walk away from a fight than to just go out and beat up on people.
Yeah.
I needed, and so those people were fewer and far between. And so I wound up dating once I found those people, they were not in the group where I was looking.
I see.
They were outside of where I was looking. They were a totally different group of women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that a lot where people, it's a whole different landscape when you're in high school, and the women that you're looking for are not adults, you know, and people tend to like bring that expectations into their adult life. Like, for example, when I was in high school, being one of the shorter guys in high school, that was a huge deal in high school, you know, and being a jock and, you know, all these things being popular, they were such a big deal back then. And you were much more likely to get rejected for not following the social norms, like you being a poet and not a jock. But as people grow up, you know, they notice that things are more important than what was important to you in high school. So I think that a lot of men still hold on to the same stereotypes and requirements that they thought they needed when they were in their formative years.
Yes.
And that, you know, and that often looks like holding back your emotions and not being vulnerable and being stoic and hiding away the parts of you. And yeah, people need to unlearn that as adults.
I maintained, well, I'm going to say hypothesis, because it used to be a theory. Now it's a hypothesis that especially particularly men, our emotional age, well, women as well, our emotional age is actually attached to the last cathartic emotional breakthrough that we had, or traumatic breakthrough. For example, if you were, let's say you're 30, if someone's 30, a man is 30 years old right now, and he has an argument with his girlfriend or his significant other, he resorts emotionally to the age he was when he had a traumatic experience in a relationship. So like he argues like he's 17, if that's when it was. If his last heartbreak was at 17, even though he's 30, he starts to argue. He argues just like that 17-year-old because that was the last heartbreak, and that's his default position. If he was 6 years old when he's 30 and that was his last heartbreak, so to speak, he argues like a 6-year-old, you know. And I'm not saying that he like holds his breath and tantrums, but the logic and the reasoning and all of that stuff is just like that. And that's what I maintain. So if you're 30 and your last heartbreak or emotional trauma was 21, that becomes your new default. You know, you become the default of the age that you were at your last traumatic heartbreak or, you know, emotional heartbreak.
Yeah, well, some things never get healed. You know, some people never work on the things that they need to work on. Like, it all comes down to, you know, do you deserve love? Are you feeling like at any point you could be abandoned? And these are the things that come up in relationship. You know, when you're actually in relationship, these fears do come up. And if you haven't addressed them, then that's where they come up.
That's definitely been my biggest fear.
If your fear is that you're going to be abandoned and that's what you're used to, you could very well create that situation so that you will be abandoned. So you can say, see, it happened again.
Yeah.
And it happened because you made that situation happen so that you could reinforce the belief that you're always being abandoned.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily consciously do it on purpose.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It just becomes habitual.
Right. They just, it's like a default. Like I said, it becomes the default position.
Yeah.
I want to talk about something called the friend zone, because one of my lifelong male friends, brothers, has always, I mean, this has been his strategy forever, is waiting on the sidelines while she's already in a relationship with another guy, playing the best friend, the male friend thing. And to me, it's very emasculating just to get into that role, but believing there's a way out of it. And for him, it really has never worked. And I came to believe that it will never work for anybody until
it does work. See, we've had this discussion, and it's worked for me.
Let me finish my thought here. I have seen it work up close and personal in somebody who's slight relation here just recently. So I've kind of changed on that, but it's kind of rare. What do you think about that whole the strategy of just waiting for your chance, waiting for her to break up with the guy that she's with now so that you get a chance. But in the meantime, staying her friend so that the person she can call, not her girlfriend, you. What's your
Yeah.
take on it?
No, I've had a lot of conversations about this over the years. My initial, customer that I was looking for, potential client, was the guy who always got friend zoned. And there's a whole story about that. People did not like the idea of women in particular didn't like the idea of naming that men get friend zoned, but it's another topic. As far as it being a strategy for finding partnership, I think it shouldn't be your strategy. What I believe is that everyone in your life can land in right relationship. So some person is meant to be a friend, some person is meant to be a stranger, some person's meant to be like so close that you're family. And we can't force that. Naturally that has to arrive at what it arrives at. And for men who typically find themselves in the friend zone, which means women choose them as friends, if you're in your confidence and in your power, that should be like a place to be celebrated. Like to have female friends and to enjoy the company of females as women, and to enjoy that is a gift of life. So it's not something to be, sad about. But if you're constantly finding yourself wanting more with a woman and you're constantly finding yourself as the friend, usually it's a problem of people pleasing. So you're not having that masculine leadership of asking for what you want, naming your desires. You're just kind of staying in a more feminine zone of waiting for things to come to you, not asking for what you want, not saying when things are what you want and things are not okay, and stating your boundaries. When women experience a man who's being like so nice, you can be nice without being a doormat. This is like the dude for doormat thing. Like the doormat's just not sticking up for what he wants.
I also feel like there's a little bit of dishonesty in there. If
Yeah.
if your intention is to be with the woman in a sexual way, and you're not making that clear to her and pretending that you're just fine with being friends, but you want more, you're not being honest, right?
No, and they can feel that. They can sense that. Women are so good at reading the subtext of what you're saying and feeling. So they do know that. And it is a reality that a lot of women, get into situations with men where they can kind of string them along for their own benefit. And that's a problem in itself. But if you're not stating your desires and you're just trying to come at them sideways, it's kind of gross, because you're saying like you want to legitimately help this person. You're saying you enjoy being in service to this person, but in reality, there's these hidden expectations that you have of your niceness. And this is why women like hate the nice guy. If you've seen the nice guy villainized, it's not actually the guy who's enjoying being in service. It's the nice guy who women are villainizing, is the nice guy who says they want to be in service, but actually they have expectations of intimacy after, as like a transaction.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a problem.
Do you believe in monogamy?
Yeah, I mean, I believe that everyone has their own perfect relationship style. I'm in a relationship that is monogamish, and I think a lot of my community is like somewhere in between. But I believe that everyone has the perfect relationship style for them.
Marriage? Do you believe in the whatever it is, the institution of marriage?
Like getting the government involved?
Yes.
That's a good way. I definitely believe in marriage as a commitment, and there's a lot of beauty in that. I'm not really all that excited about getting the government involved with my love life, but it's kind of just like a logistical thing for me.
It's a question that I have because we have romance authors on quite a bit, and they're generally women, and the heroine is a woman who is thinking about Prince Charming, the guy who's going to pop the question and live happily ever after, married and all this stuff. And even though I am married, and my wife knows that I feel this way, she's not going to be, I feel like the institution of marriage is somehow kind of changing its value in society today. And I'm not sure, like the government aspect of it. Yeah, we could live together, all that stuff, as long as we're committed and all that stuff. I do believe, and I said this earlier before you were on the show, I have my hands full disappointing one woman at a time. I don't need a second woman who's going to be mad at me all the time for leaving the toilet seat up. I don't. So I'm happy with one woman, but I don't think we necessarily need to get the government involved and sign papers and go through ceremonies and say, I love, for the 300 of our closest friends, all that kind of stuff. But the institution of marriage, I think women care about it more than men. Just do you have any, as a guy who coaches men, the men desire that? I know it's a generalization, but
yeah, it's certainly a generalization. I think men, they want, at a certain point, they do want to have the stability of that kind of commitment. And as far as like having a ceremony and stuff, I think that's beautiful. And I don't quite love the idea of spending all of your savings to have this big party, but I have friends who have commitment ceremonies every couple years, and it's symbolic and ritual, and it's beautiful for them to recommit themselves to each other. Though, I'm not pushing one way or the other about whether people should have, a marriage certificate from the government. I think it's just more about renewing the commitment to be in love with each other, which is a commitment.
When earlier you used the phrase pickup artist, and I knew a lot of when I was young, especially like late teens and early 20s, guys who were just good at walking into a place, a party or a club or whatever, boom, hooking up with a girl, leaving with her, and basically one night stands or maybe a couple of week relationship and letting it go. That is there anything wrong with that, in your opinion, especially for men in their youth?
Well, it can certainly be done unethically. I think that there is some benefits and there's some positives to some of the things that they teach in the pickup artist community. But anytime that you're using manipulation to get someone to make a decision, like you want to give someone the full choice of connecting with you or not. And there's some things that you can do to like lower someone's self-esteem so that they choose you, or make it seem like you're scarce when you're not. Like there's ways of doing it that are just, helpful in finding human connection with someone. Yeah. And it's a kind of a nerve-wracking thing. So practicing connecting with someone who you don't know, who's a stranger, is definitely a skill that is important. And that's important skill to learn, whether you're trying to find partnership or you're just trying to be a good person and connect with the world. So I think there's ways that it's very helpful for people and men to explore the skills of connecting with people they don't know, but not in the way that you're influencing people to make decisions outside of what is in their best interest.
Very cool stuff. Because I did have 4 years ago now a guy named Ross also, but he was a dating coach, and he was employing NLP, hypnosis techniques, and a lot of Tony Robbins art of manipulation stuff to guys who had difficulty finding women to date, and encouraging them to study NLP and kind of that feels just so, I don't know, dirty to me. It's like playing dirty, like using psychological tricks. It's not authentic. It's not saying here who I am. This is who I am. Take me for who I am or don't. It's saying put up an illusion of who I am, like convincing her that you are somebody that you are not necessarily.
Yeah. If you're having a one night stand and a woman is agreeing to a one night stand, she should know that that's what it is. Before she makes the decision, she should be in choice that this is, my expectation of this interaction is it's going to end after this. And if she still says yes to that after you communicate that, then you're good. You've given her choice. But anytime that like you're banking on someone making a mistake to sleep with you, like that's not a good look. And that's going to come and get you at a certain point.
So with that said, do you ever turn down working with somebody who comes in, like a young guy who just wants to be a player and he's looking for tips on how to be a player? Would you turn somebody like that away?
It's never happened to me. It's like something that people think happens to me a lot. When people are investing in themselves, it's typically to find real partnership and real love. So it's never happened to me that I've had like a hitch moment where some like D-bag comes in and I have to turn him down. The typical thing is that they have not had success with women in their life. They could use some sex. They could really love to connect with someone, but their real goal is to find intimate partnership. So they're willing to like have some non-committal sex along the way of finding their true partner, but that's their true goal, is usually where people are at. They want some options for themselves so that they're not so needy. I would certainly turn someone away if they're really just trying to use and manipulate women. Like, I'm not trying to contribute to that in the world, but it hasn't happened to me.
You talk about confidence. To me, it takes a lot of confidence for a guy to say, I'm really interested in true love, because that's not a thing that men would necessarily feel open to talking to other men about and admitting to. Like, basically I'm gonna, especially around guys, I'm gonna put on my real bro attitude and say, I'm just in it for pussy, man. That's all I care about. Like, I'm not gonna come open up to another guy and say, I'm really.
Now you should come to some of our men's circles, because it's more and more men opening up to each other and revealing their emotions and their vulnerability. And actually, as society is evolving, that's becoming more and more attractive to women. They, as women are getting their own money and have a lot of their own freedoms, they're not needing men to be stoic anymore. And so in the dating world, there's a lot more rewarding men for showing their emotions and asking for love and being real about that. So, I think especially in the younger generations, that's becoming something that's definitely more attractive among men.
Yeah, that there is definitely a generational divide here. Like my generation, I don't know if you could tell this, but I'm 104. But my generation probably, and I'm certain most guys my age would look at this. It's all we. What do you need a relationship coach? What do you need a coach for? You just go out and get yourself a pussy. How's the world changing as far as perspectives? You didn't live through the what Arstonis has lived through to know how weird it was, but obviously attitudes are changing in that. Can you talk to that?
Yeah, how things are changing in the dating world.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, women have more of a voice now. So that's great. And it also presents a good amount of challenges for men. Yeah, something that's like coming alive in the world right now is as women are regaining their voice, they have this like this community of support online, and often that kind of in the toxic side of it looks like a lot of man hating. So men do have quite a bit of negative reinforcement from putting themselves out there, from a small group of very vocal women, people worrying about getting canceled and all that, and that's a genuine fear that men have. But from what I've seen, the changes that are happening is women are very receptive to men who admit when they've made mistakes. They're not looking for men to be perfect. As even though you hear this like echo chamber from social media about like men are, all men are awful and all that, that's not actually how most women feel. It takes a lot of confidence and a lot of self-love to admit when you've made a mistake and that you can commit to doing better. And that's, maybe in the past that was very punished for admitting you were wrong. But I think women in society these days are really open to that. And that's actually what makes a very confident man, is he's not afraid to make mistakes because he's willing to own it when he does.
Yeah.
It depends. I think it depends on the mistake. I mean, you can have a guy who's really, really confident. He's with the woman he wants to be with, and he says to her on their way, the day before they get married, "I made a mistake and I slept with your sister." He's owning up to it, and she's going to say, "I admire a man who can admit he made a mistake. It was just a mistake. We can get through this." And
I know a guy that actually happened on the festival the night before they were supposed to get married. He came out and confessed. He's dead now. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that are so like serious that you can't come back from.
It's a mistake. Come on, you just said that they can live with the...
No, but what I was referring to more because it's gone in cycles in my lifetime where women appreciated a guy who held the car door for them. They appreciated a guy who held the chair for them, and then it became, I can do it myself, and then it basically it was frowned upon. What are you trying to impress me? It felt phony or something, and then it swings back and forth.
Yeah, it's swung back now. So yeah, you have
it's okay to hold the door for a young lady.
You have the boss babes, we call them, where they've focused on their independence, on making money, and less on starting a family. And I've noticed that that is, for a lot of people, their life, but for a lot of women, that's a phase that they go through. They get to their mid 30s, late 30s, and they actually have a regression back into wanting to be more into their feminine. So there's like a lot of societal influence that makes it very attractive for women to step into their masculine, which looks like stepping into their money-making potential, to step into their independence. And for a lot of them, that gets lonely for them, or that's not exactly what their body and the essence of their mind wants to do with their life. It's just something that culturally they've been influenced to do. So yeah, there is like a pendulum that happens there as women are, experimenting with different lifestyles and being more like a man or being more like a woman.
Now I am a chronic door opener and have been so for many years. And now, I mean, it's not like, okay, my wife realizes that I do it, and it's never been about treating someone like they're fragile or anything like that, or even anything. Was it I forgot it? Chivalry. That's it. Chivalry.
Yeah. Why do you do it?
But I don't. But to be honest, when I was younger, I thought that's what people did. I learned a lot of what I learned about. Most of what I know about romance, I learned from watching Fred Astaire dance. And it's because the way he danced, it was a give and take. And if you really watch the dance, sometimes the man had the major moves, or the woman had the major moves, but the moves always had to complement each other, whether they were making the same moves or not. Mm-hmm. And so to me, the door opening is just part of the dance. It's part of the complementing. It's not a matter of superiority. It's not a matter, it's not like Sammy's not buy flowers or anything else. It's a matter of the overall treatment, and I hate this word, but I'm going to use it because them young kids say it, the overall vibe. I fucking hate that word. But I can't even tell you how much I hate that word.
Couple of questions here for you. Because you're bringing up dance. Is dancing still a really important part of courtship? Because I think he hit on a point there where women want a man to lead, not just in relationship. That's in dance is the way you can tell whether he's a strong leader or whether he has the confidence to take the lead, right? Is dance still an important part of courtship?
I mean,
It
yeah,
should be.
it should be. It's a huge part of my life. I was a semi-professional salsa dancer for many years, and I definitely bring those elements of physicality into my intimacy and courtship, as you would say. Um, yeah, I think that you're talking about, physical intimacy. So the closeness of listening to each other's bodies, that's a big part of tantra actually, is just like really feeling what's in the moment. And like you were saying, like it's a conversation, a give and take. It shows that you can listen and that you are able to lead someone through time and space. So I think it is a huge part of connection. Not everyone loves to dance, but dancing can take a lot of forms, just staying in one place with your partner, holding them, swaying together. It doesn't have to involve a whole lot of movement, but the energy's there, the vibe's there.
Right. The other
Stop
part
it!
was
No more vibe. No more vibe. I know I started it, and I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Can you forgive me for my mistake?
Yeah, I'm a big
no,
vibe guy, so
no.
yeah.
Do women still expect men to pay, especially on the first date?
Yeah, they do for the most part.
Well,
Who
that was
doesn't want to save
confusing.
money? Okay, that's just no. Who doesn't want to save money? That's just that's just sensible.
I
If you want
get
to
it.
save money,
No,
save
I
money.
I always assume that, but I just say like after my divorce, I was 30 years old when I got divorced. Started dating women again, and first time I had a date, and I hated dating. The idea of dating. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the first date, I went to pay for everything, and she said, "I have my own." Like, wow, I'm getting yelled at for buying dinner here, and it was very confusing to me. And then after that, I felt like, do I ask or I just do it and risk getting yelled at again, or get treating like I'm being disrespectful to her ability to be self-sufficient? She doesn't
Yeah, I
need my.
don't think that's happening with the yelling at you for paying. I think that it depends on where someone wants their polarity of their relationship to be. Um, I think that for a lot of like moderate women, the desire to have a man pay on the first date is more about showing that he has commitment to you, that he's not just looking to play for the moment. He's looking for something serious, and that he has at least the ability to have the stability of providing for this moment. I think that women who just want a man to pay for everything is a little misguided, because if you want a man to pay for everything, you're going for very strict gender roles. Then I think you should also follow those strict gender roles in the way you show up, which is a little bit of a time travel back in time for some women as far as their rights.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of a balance to have. But I think in general, what I've seen is whoever asks the other person on the date is the person who pays. And a lot of women actually are doing that these days.
I hate the concept of dating. And when I first met my wife, I was in my mid 40s. And I told her, I said, I'm not a dater. It feels like you're trying people on. It's almost like you're going to a department store. There's a new suit. A date feels like the try on rooms. I'm going to go try on a new suit and see how it fits me. I'm trying on people, see how they fit me. And I was like, well, let's not go for a date. Let's just meet for 5 minutes, go for a walk in the park, have a conversation or something like that. Not a let's go out to dinner, let's go and let me take you dancing, whatever, and all that stuff. It just felt like, let's go in baby steps here. Let's just meet in the park and have a conversation and see if we can go do that. What is it still dinner, or because there was a time when they used to say take her to lunch that kind of, it was or take her for coffee or whatever. Starting small steps. Is there like a pattern for a first date? I don't know what I'm looking for. Template.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of interactions start online now. So a lot of people, majority of relationships start in online dating now.
Wow,
Vast majority.
that's weird.
Yeah. So I think a lot of the first interactions are just like, let me make sure that you're actually who you say you are.
Oh my God. Yeah, people can be so phony anyway in person.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, the internet just brings out the phony in people.
That's
I'm
why
glad I'm not young.
That's why my suggestion for a first date in the physical world is a comedy club. And the reason why I say that is because you learn more about people in their off-guarded moments than you do any other time. And
I
when
like
you're
it.
when you're at a comedy club, you find out what they laugh at. Okay. And when you find out what they laugh at, you find out what kind of sick fuck they really are. I mean, you find out the things that you can, you find out their taboos and yours. You know, it's not, you're also laughing. So if they're paying attention, they're learning about you as well. And if there's food there, you get to learn about their eating habits, you know, and of all things, how they laugh. Because my first wife had a laugh that I did not want around the rest of my family. Right. It's like I said, my family's going out. You stay home because there's going to be laughter, and I cannot have this at the table. I can't. You know, so there's so many things you can learn about a person with their first date is at a comedy club. Like I said, that's it. End of list. Comedy club.
I bet you Tucker Carlson's wife would have loved to hear that in advance.
Yes, if she'd have heard his laugh. Yes, if she had heard that laugh, she would have never have married him.
Wow. Yeah. That's good advice. I appreciate that.
I mean, especially
not like I'm ever going to go.
People are on airs. When they go to dinner, they're on airs. They don't want to eat what they want to eat. They don't want to spend what they don't want to spend. You know, they dress. It's like an over-exaggerated mating ritual because you say we're going to dinner. Okay, right. But you say we're going to a comedy club, that sets a bar a lot lower. It's like I can wear jeans, I can eat what I want, I can just and that's how you learn about people in those unguarded moments. So that's my dating advice. Your first date, comedy club. Period. End of list.
Good stuff. Ross, now I want to, before we get ready to say goodbye to you here, and time is short here, I want to tell, there's links in the description, try embodiment.com and then sacred, what is it? I can't.
Sacred Society.
SacredSociety.co. Not .com. The first one is, first of all, I wanted to ask, do you have a book out? Because I couldn't find it. I would show you a book if I had a book, but I couldn't find it.
No, I don't have a book. I have an online course about big depth energy on it, the embodiment site.
Big depth energy sounds too close to big dick energy. Does anybody ever say big dick energy?
Well, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah, but I know it is. But all right. So now, the course is at embodiment.com. And what is the embodiment? And what is Sacred Society all about?
Sure. Well, embodiment is my community of men that includes this course and a lot of learning about how to connect with women. And it's about being a grounded, confident man. And we have meetings twice a month where we meet as men and we talk about what's going in our lives. We have a lot of different topics around connecting with others and intimacy. And then the Sacred Society is a community that I've built with my partner, a global community where we're actually, we throw sacred sexuality events. You can probably guess what that is. And we want to make sure that the people there are safe and vetted. So we have a system of vetting people to make sure that they're safe members of that community.
Yeah, I would bet that's a good challenge.
Yeah. So we have learning resources there as well in that community. People who are in the embodiment community are invited into Sacred Society as well. So Sacred Society is just like finding people who are safe to invite your sexuality around. And we have learning resources for those people as well.
Wow. Now, lastly, the people you work with, are they, I don't even know how to, are a lot of them on the rebound, like guys who are divorced and re-entering the world of dating or trying to find love? Or is it more first time young men who have never experienced?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have two typical kinds of men that I work with, and they're both in transition. So the majority of them are coming out of their first big relationship with, like a divorce and trying to re-enter the dating world in the way that it is now. So that's the majority of my clients coming in after divorce. And then there's also men who just never quite figured out how to, show their attraction to women. They've felt invisible to women. and they need help in that way. So we have different resources for those different types of people. It's about like unnumbing yourself, allowing yourself to love again, and open yourself up to that is kind of the river that runs between both of them.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, because even though my divorce was initiated by me, I still felt like a failure at it. You know, I felt like my marriage was a failure, and I blame myself for it. And we talk about confidence killers. It wasn't that I didn't feel like I was worthy. It felt like it wasn't. I probably shouldn't get into something I've already failed at again, and I should probably remain single the rest of my life. And I was for a good many years. I think for like 15 years, but on my own, and don't know exactly why I decided to get back into it. But it is a confidence killer, and I know so much of what you talk about is confidence. It's a divorce, even when she doesn't say she wants a divorce, you initiate the divorce. It still can be a confidence killer, and it can really fuck with people's mindsets and all this kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, your deservingness of love. A lot of people, they have a lot of trouble really like understanding that they deserve love, even if they've made mistakes in the past. And yeah, a lot of it is about forgiving yourself. A lot of it about like understanding that there's room for you to grow. And yeah, I think the world is more and more ready for that now.
You sound optimistic. I hate to accuse you of things, but it sounds like you sound optimistic for the world.
I am optimistic to the world. I've definitely, worked with quite a few people who have felt really down, who felt like they didn't have a chance at love again. And I've seen them find partnership, and it really starts with how much you love yourself. And there's things that you can do. It's for a lot of us, it's a slow process, but they don't know exactly how to approach loving themselves more, forgiving themselves for what they've done. But there is a road to do that. And I've seen it happen many times.
Yeah. That's definitely been my I don't forgive myself. And I've been talking about this lately in the last couple of weeks, and I've actually written stuff for myself to try to encourage myself to forgive myself for every mistake I ever made. I hold against myself, and there's been a long list of, it's been a long life. So, not that I'm looking to date at all. I'm happily married. I'm married, and close enough to death that I'm never going to date again. So there's that. But definitely could use some just forgiving myself, because it's something I struggle with, and I'm sure a lot of men do as well. So. Listen, it's been a pleasure having you and talking to you. I was a little nervous about how this was going to go, because the only people I've had on, and they call themselves dating or relationship coaches, these guys, they are essentially pickup artists, and they're trying to teach other guys how to be pickup artists. It's like, I'm going to challenge you. Then go pick up Ana de Armas today. Go put your spell on her and teach me. Let me see your stuff. And I thought that's the way this was going to go. I'm glad it didn't go that way. So,
oh, thanks. Yeah, we're looking for lasting love.
Yeah.
And take your first date to a comedy club. That'll cut through a lot of fat. That'll cut through a lot of stuff that you won't even get. It's like, whoa, I didn't even know I knew that about you. I mean, you could.
Well, besides being good personal advice, it's good to promote the comedy business, which we are all about here. So, take it to a comedy club.
That too, but it's just one of those things that if you're going to be dating, if you're serious about dating someone for like, if you're looking for like a long-term relationship, long-term relationships don't last if you find out that your initial meeting was based on a lie.
Yeah.
And then you fall in love with the person across the dinner table, and that's not who you're going to get 2 weeks later.
Right. One last question before I let you go, Ross. I know you're in Philadelphia, right? Philadelphia, PA. Are you? Do you work with people international? Like, because a lot of the stuff is online, right? Do you work with people all over?
Yeah. My program is 90% online. We do have some like retreats and stuff that we bring people together, but the course is online, the meetings are online. You can join in from anywhere.
Very cool. Well, good
Yeah.
luck. Well, if I could give you a piece of advice, is write a book. It's a great, authenticity piece, an authority piece. But take
Okay.
that 2 cents, and you'd be free to throw that 2 cents out the window as you're driving. I don't need his 2 cents.
It's definitely on my life agenda for
All
sure.
right, all right. Well, we appreciate you being here. Good luck. We'll let people know about dudes. Check out Embodiment. Try embodiment.com.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. I
Have a
appreciate
great
it.
day. Bye for now. Russell, that went very well. I thought.
I told you, give it a shot.
I know. You know me. I'm prejudiced. I prejudge everything in life, not just people and events, everything. And I get nervous. Now watch. I know we have one coming on. We have 2 guests on Thursday. One is my friend Dante Therese, and
That's
she's
not going to go well.
You've met her. She's a nice lady.
Yeah, she's a nice lady, but that's not going to go well because she's going to realize that she really doesn't want you to be a friend anymore.
That could happen. that has happened. I have had people who, by the 4th time they've come back, and they said, "You know what? You are a dick." But no, I expect that to. Then the second hour on Thursday, Jim. Why don't I remember Jim's last name? It's something with
Gaffigan?
He's a friend of Elizabeth. He's a filmmaker, and he sent me some shorts. He's got this.
Were they at least clean?
Well, they were like I bought them on eBay. They said Taylor Swift on them. I don't know why. But
for those people who missed the first hour, you missed a lot.
Yeah, Manicorn. His new movie is the film he's working on, a feature film, Manicorn. The guy turns into like a half unicorn dude. That's a lot of.
So he's horny.
A lot of special effects, and that big. I would think if you're going to do that right, you really need a big budget, right? Or you can't do that on us. Maybe if you want to play it up for a comedic effect.
Well, when I was in my 20s, one of the costumes I was building, I never finished it, but I didn't make the outside. I wanted to be a centaur, and I made it. I was building it so that I didn't have the skin on.
What is that? That's not Pegasus, the thing. What is it?
No, the centaur is a man from the navel up and a horse from the. The 4 legs.
That's weird.
And I had the mechanics down where the left rear leg would move when my right leg moved, and the right rear leg would move when my left leg moved. I had all that down with wires and stuff like that. I never finished making the outside, so I never made the costume. But they can do it a lot easier today than I did back then because I didn't have a model to go from. You can probably buy a unicorn kit or a centaur kit,
Yeah.
And then they green screen out the extra wires that they needed. I didn't have a green screen, so I'm walking around in public, with that.
Ageist warning here, because GD and I come from a generation where there used to be a Hercules cartoon, and he had one of the Newton or something, right?
Yeah, Newton and Toot.
So, but that's just a weird. Like the Greeks came up with this idea of a hung like. Is that where hung like a horse comes from? I mean,
no, that actually comes from I think they started that with my father, but no.
Where does that half man, half horse thing? I mean,
no, I think that is probably I do believe that is European mythology. I don't remember seeing it like in the African mythology, but in Egypt they had the part human and part, like Horus, not Horus, but Horus's children.
Horse is a horse, of course.
There was the Thoth, who had a dog's head or a wolf's head and a human body. But there were other creatures in Egypt. So it's been around for a while. Different cultures have different combination creatures. I can't remember what the technical name is for it, but griffiths and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm just wanted to read about Sarah Marshall, who's going to be here tomorrow. So Here's what Sarah's bio says about her. Sarah has lived many lives, traveled the world, and served in many roles: explorer, ponderer, adventurer, business professional, and mother, and Burning Man devotee. Now she's an author wanting to share. Now, she's a mother. She can't be a trans person and be a mother, right? Unless adopted mother.
Well,
Right?
mother is I've been called a mother by many people who didn't like my disposition about certain things.
Do I have it wrong? Maybe I don't have it wrong. I could have sworn I seen something about being. And listen, when I said I'm prejudiced, I'm not prejudiced against trans people. I'm not saying that, but I could have sworn. I read something about her being trans. And now maybe I'm just totally confused by that. But this idea, because what is a woman, right? What is a woman? Transformation, belonging, community. I could just maybe I just read the word transformation and transition. I don't know. Could have sworn. So maybe she's not. That's an odd thing. If you call somebody a trans person and they're not, then you're really a dick, right?
Right. That's right up there with calling someone, asking if they're pregnant and they're not.
Yeah, I know. It's even worse than that, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, it's from the, it's because let's say that someone's a trans woman and you say, "Are you pregnant?" They may take that as a compliment, thinking, "See, I can do it." So I don't know. Or is it a conduit? And I guess it depends what part of the country you're in. If you're saying you can do it or you can do it.
Can do it. Do it. There's a can do it, conduit.
Right. So it depends on what part of the country you're in.
Could have sworn there was something about trans in here, and now I'm just thinking I'm just a dick. Good thing I found out today. Then wait for tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Why put off tomorrow what you can learn about yourself today?
Well, I just don't like to be called a dick live on the air by somebody. I like to do it off air where they can call me a dick. I don't know. That's just my little thing. Anyway, Sarah Marshall will be here tomorrow. Let's not forget Sarah Marshall, okay? Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Good movie. Yeah, wow.
I'm not sure I remember that movie, but that's just me.
The guy was the guy was from a sitcom. You'd recognize him from a sitcom, but he had a vampire puppet, and he was trying to impress Sarah Marshall, and she wasn't into him. She was into Russell Brand, and Russell Brand, God, Russell Brand, he's a rapist, right? Am I going to get sued for that? I'm not going to get sued for that.
Well, not if you say allegedly.
All right, he's allegedly a rapist.
No, allegedly his name is Russell Brand. So allegedly Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if that's his name. I know he's a rapist. I just don't know if that's his name.
I wasn't paying enough attention to the chat room there, was I? Matt, greatest fear, women becoming more like men. I think not my greatest fear. I kind of that was been my belief or attitude toward it. Like there was
Jason Segel.
Women becoming more like men, and in terms of just being players and just like putting notches on their gun, just wanting to fuck as many people as possible. That was a very male thing up until the 1970s. And then women just said, yeah, you know what? I want to fuck women's lib, whatever. And I'm not saying, maybe I am judging it a little bit. Yeah, you're right. No, it's not fading. It's gone. I haven't dyed my mustache in over like 2 months or something. Only because my wife has been taking my car and I don't fucking get the chance to leave the house much, to be honest with you.
This movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, has a tremendous range of people. I mean, there's quite a few comedians in here, but there's like a lot of creeps in here. People who are now, like, oh yeah, they're a creep now. We know that about them now.
Go, give me some.
But there are two comedians in here, well, actually three at least, Jason Segel. I don't know if he does stand up.
That's what I was talking about. Jason
Segel. But there's also Bill Hader.
Oh,
Hader.
Yeah.
And Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if Paul Rudd is a comedic actor. He's not a comedian per se.
I don't remember him in that movie.
Steve Landsberg used to be a comedian. He used to do stand up, but he was.
I don't remember him in that movie either.
Yeah, Jason Bateman. But as far as the creeps go, you got William Baldwin, Billy Bush, Russell Brand.
Wow, I forget all these people were in that movie.
Yeah,
Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
Who the hell did he play? All right.
Yeah, there's a good chunk of sex offenders in this movie. At least 3, which is a good chunk.
Yeah.
And there could be more because some of these people I have no idea. I don't know who they are. So they could just be on Epstein's list, his naughty list.
Yeah. I want to just read some more of these comments that I missed here. Heavy Kev said chivalry comes from tradition and ancestral memory. Ancestral memory? I don't remember any of my ancestors. Men becoming more like women. That's what Sunshine said. There's men becoming more like women. That's not a fear of mine. I mean, it's not me. Listen, I couldn't if I tried. I'm just.
I think there's I think when people look at a singular relationship, you have 2 people that have been around each other long enough, they begin to take on each other's qualities. It's just they become more similar. And some people interpret that as being, I've had people say to me, you think like a woman. Okay, sometimes I guess I do. And then I've had people, so it's that kind of thing. So if you look at the 2 species being together and wanting to stay together and also needing to be together, there's going to be like a melding, a swapping of societal DNA, so to speak.
She laughs just like a woman. Yes, she does. She makes love just like a woman. Yes, she does. That's my Bob Dylan impersonation.
But she punches just like a man.
She punches just like a little girl. What is she saying? There's a lot of good that comes out of forgiveness, even if it doesn't feel right in the moment of saying it. It is a wonderful release of negative energy forever. You know what? About 2 weeks ago, I wrote to all my ex-relationship friends, MAGA friends, and I said, I don't want to die mad at you. I'm trying hard to forgive you. I don't want to carry around this anger for you because it's killing me. So I'm letting it go. I still don't understand how you kind of aligned yourself with the devil and all that stuff, but I have to learn to forgive you and just let go of it for my own good. Only one of them wrote back to me and said, I know I'm not, and that's the person who said, I didn't even vote for Trump this time. And look, that doesn't matter. You didn't vote against him. You didn't stand up against it. That's, it's like Hitler. I didn't vote for Hitler, but you didn't say fucking Hitler's no good. You didn't have the courage to sit up and say, and listen, I know that some people will say the Hitler comparisons are always done. No, I think the Hitler comparisons are right on. Anyway, yeah, forgiveness, but self-forgiveness is difficult for me. Ian with the mustache line here. You don't have noticed this because you're not in that world, but Ben Shapiro.
Yeah,
I think he stole my mustache dye and put it in his eyebrows. He's got Groucho Marx mustaches for eyebrows now. And it just happened within the last 2 days. And everybody's making a joke because he's going on video on Twitter and or wherever on the show and they're clipping it. But he's got like full Groucho Marx grease paint fucking eyebrows on it. It looks insane. How do you fucking do that? He's got nobody in his world to say, you might want to, I don't know, trim that down a little bit, whatever. I wish maybe I could find a picture of it. It's fucking comical looking now. What else did I miss in the chat room? While I'm looking for Ben Shapiro. Did we miss anything significant in there?
I don't know.
Shapiro. I hate him too. Yeah, and listen, I'm maybe hate. Oh, here you go. Wait, no talking, Ben. I can't let you talk. I'm just going to show your face. Where's my share button? Do I have a share button? Yes, I do. Share screen. Ben Shapiro. Oh, here you go. Back over here. Damn, too many back over there. Back over here. Check out them eyebrows, man. Groucho Marx grease paint mustaches.
Mm.
And he's got one after another. People are just commenting on, like, what the hell is? Nobody's the Shapiro's eyebrows are getting. Ben Shapiro's are getting are out of control. At least Ian notices, and I'm not sure that's Ian. That's the nicest guy too. That's Ian's brother, Ian. Ian, right? He's got a twin brother named Ian.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Tomorrow's Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I mean, not Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Sarah Marshall writing books about Burning Man. Have you ever? You familiar with the Burning Man? You know about the Burning Man? The Burning Man thing?
I am. I've never been to one. I know it exists. I've seen footage of it, and the last one that I saw footage of was like a real rainstorm and mud, and it turned out to be a disaster. Of course, I don't know when that was. I don't know if it was like recent or if that's like 2 or 3 mud storms.
I think it was during the pandemic at some point. I remember that one. Yeah, it's weird. People, it starts at something, and then it starts maybe 2 guys. And then all of a sudden, it's like people making pilgrimages to the Burning Man stuff, and now it's a spiritual thing. Like people, it's like, I don't know, hippies, Jesus freaks, whatever it is. But yeah, that's what she writes. She did the Burning Man for 20 years. It's been going on that long or longer. So we'll talk to Sarah Marshall tomorrow. It's time to say goodbye. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. MICKEY. I'm not.
Please don't pee on me.
Yeah, I'm looking for a song to play. Okay, it's time to tell Ian, the nicest guy, not Ian, his twin brother, to walk around nappy. Walk around nappy. Bye for now.
I
me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.